Alright, Shalom. Before I begin this video, all praise, honor, and glory goes to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakakwadash. Double honors to the elder apostles of Great Millstone, GMS, who rule well and teach well, and taught us his truth, as well as the sincere salutations. Alright. To the elder bishops, along with you brothers laboring all throughout the four winds of the earth. Yahweh Bashem, Yahweh Shai, Bashem, Rakakwadash, Barakathum. To you brothers out there, Shalom to the elect of the nation of Israel. Alright. And this is a article from the Telegraph, just going into how the world is turning against America. So I'm gonna probably crop that out later. But the title of this lesson is America, aka Babylon the Great, will never be great again, right? It's only downhill from here with this place. It's not going to blossom back and go to what it formerly was. It's only going to continue to get worse. The C-HIP is going to be presented, to the whole world. And it's really going to be pushed, here in Babylon the Great, just like everything, that the whole world kind of follows after. They're always looking at America. They're always looking at what America is doing. Okay, America, aka Babylon the Great. But I'm gonna just read some of this article, and then get a few precepts in Lewis Willis edifying. Let me just go skip down. It says almost 2 months later, he signed a deal to end the conflict that many argue favors Iran, fails to meet his primary objectives. It says the Iran war has revealed the limits of U.S. military power to achieve political objectives, but it has also left allies and partners questioning their relations with Washington. It says we deployed American power recklessly and incomprehensibly. That's one of the $5 words, like brothers say. It says, said Aaron David Miller, a former U.S. State Department negotiator and advisor during multiple Republican and Democrat administrations. It says the moral and strategic argument is that Operation Epic Fury has been an epic disaster. He said, what significance did this war have to advancing the national interests of the U.S.? There was a G7 summit in Geneva this week to quell the concerns about the peace treaty, right? Which they get together and they just basically speak on, what they're gonna do next. The page-and-a-half-long deal signed on Wednesday night consists of a broad and apparently flimsy set of principles to keep peace and kick contentious issues into the long grass. And just like the scriptures say, though hand join in hand, the wicked shall not go unpunished. So these other nations, they, everybody can sit at the round table and, plot this and plot that on what they gonna do in the future, right? But they don't know the future. But Yahweh Bashem, Yahweh Shai knows the future. It says among U.S. allies, concerns are being raised privately that the Rush framework is light on nuclear concessions and heavy on financial incentives. Greedy. It says a senior European diplomat said the deal will turn out to be a win for Iran. I don't think Iran will give much in the coming 60 days of negotiations. It says some European countries denied American warplanes use of their airspace, while the refusal of NATO countries to send warships to help reopen the Strait of Hormuz infuriated Trump. It culminated in Mr. Trump threatening to abandon Slovakia, the alliance altogether. Right, and that's the beast hating the whore. And we're not gonna get into, as I'm scrolling down, I'm seeing, just what's on my screen, and you can, sit here and make jokes about, his appearance or whatever the case is, but this place, you can just tell that this place don't have long. All right, the leadership looks just burnt out. People think, he's strong. This place is crumbling. It says the frustration with the current erratic foreign policy swings is growing and increasingly visible. Yeah, because at one point these other nations, were heavily involved in Babylon the Great, what Babylon the Great had going on. Lots of travel, lots of money being exchanged between the other nations and Babylon the Great. Military partnerships, financial partnership, all sorts of partnerships, and now that's being strained. So they're gonna come in with a new monetary system, something new, a CHIP. They're gonna come with something that says, okay, everybody, all right, put this in you. This is the system. This is how it's gonna go. All right, things are gonna escalate further and further, all the way to the point. All right, where is this all out? World War III. All right. The destruction of Babylon the Great, aka America, and the salvation of the nation of Israel. And destruction for everybody else, and then captivity in the kingdom of heaven. And it makes the other nations upset, which, hey, shit, it is what it is, what it is. There's nothing you can do. Alright, if you a heathen, you a heathen. Not just because you look like a heathen doesn't mean necessarily that you are a heathen. Your line may, go back to the nation of Israel. Right, and that's why, according to the scriptures, we, roughly paraphrasing, we judge the spirit, by the spirit. It says militarily, the U.S. has depleted its critical missile and munition stockpiles, which, he got all sorts of things. He say this, he say that. So, they ready, even though they're not prepared, they are preparing. They'll never be prepared because they finna get mollywopped. But, they're preparing. They're gathering themselves together on a diplomatic front. Okay, they're having meetings, arguments back and forth. Alright, and that's what it's speaking on right here. It says forcing the relocation of assets from the Pacific. The Gulf states have suffered severe damage to energy facilities and incurred heavy economic losses. Yet, they saying over here that, hey, everything's all good. We thumbs up. We got peace going on. It's all good. Yet the reality is that, hey, this, just like everything that Esau Edom, aka this so-called white man, everything that he's involved in is, it's a bad idea. It's a horrible idea. I'm not going to read through all this. It says that his own predilections that U.S. power is unlimited. Yep, that's part of that pride. It says America's capacity to deter has been undermined. He said, American credibility will recover. Wait, no, that's not what the scriptures say. All right, that is not what the scriptures say. We're going to get a precept. Revelation 18:21. And a mighty angel took up a stone like a great millstone and cast it into the sea, saying, thus with violence shall that great city Babylon be thrown down, and shall be found no more at all. Yeah, so this bitch is through. We don't have to worry about no, 5-year plan, 10-year plan, 30-year mortgage. We not worried about that. Because we understand this place is going to fall violently. And soon, too. It says, and the voice of harpers and musicians and of pipers and trumpeters shall be heard no more at all in thee. And no craftsman of whatsoever craft he be shall be found any more in thee. Yeah, so ain't no jobs. Working. It's nobody gonna be clocked in, when the Lord returns and saves the elected nation of Israel. It ain't gonna be like that. All right, it's gonna be a full society breakdown by the time the Lord comes and saves the elect of the nation of Israel. It's gonna be horrible. Bodies everywhere. It ain't like people just gonna be driving their cars, working. People going about they just average everyday life. By the time the Lord come, that's gonna be that final, strike against this place, right? Because with the Lord coming back, simultaneously, the missiles will be coming. All right, the Wadi Yabashim Yahushua. It says, verse 23, and the light of a candle shall shine no more at all in thee. The voice of the bridegroom and of the bride shall be heard no more at all in thee. For thy merchants were the great men of the earth. Look at these rich heathens making money just off merchandise. Right? It says, "For by thy sorceries were all nations deceived." And Esau, his whole lifestyle, everything about him, it come with a philosophy. It come with a way of life. This nigga wicked, evil, vile. Alright, and all these other nations, they follow after him, including 2/3 of the nation of Israel. 2/3 of our people follow after this wicked nigga and are gonna be destroyed. Alright, Lord's will we be of the elect. Okay, from the elder Apostle Tahar on down. Lord's will we be of the elect. Okay, we battle through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. we battling against Esau, Edom, with the scriptures, not physical. Cause see, Esau is finna come physically. He gonna come physically. We just dealing in the spirit. Revelation 18 and 24. And in her, right, America, was found the blood of prophets and of saints and of all that were slain upon the earth. Yeah, so it's going to be all sorts of, some of us are going to have to be martyrs. The scriptures speak about that. All right? Being beheaded for the sake of the Lord. Okay, because the Lord, okay, is going to make it so that the elect of the nation of Israel ain't going to take the sea hill. All right, that's why Lord's will we be of the elect. Okay, we don't take it. We resist it. All right, because everything is leading and segueing into that. All right, the sea hill is around the corner. You got all these indications. Matthew 24 and 6. And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled. For all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. Yeah, so we understand that even though everything being set up, beast hating the whore. Okay, this is all being set up piece by piece. Okay, and the prophecies have to come about a certain way. We know that once that sea hip come about, it's gonna be on and popping. Things are gonna happen quick. Things are gonna roll out quick. And that's something we wait patiently for. We wait patiently. We await the day of Yahweh Shem Yahushua coming back and saving the elect of the nation of Israel, man. Okay, and destroying the heathen. Okay, the heathen has a desire to continue to just rule over the Israelites, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans. Okay, just to rule over us forever, step on us, poison us with these different doctrines and ideologies and idols, false gods, false teaching, all this weird, off bullshit, right? When in reality, we know what's going to happen. Okay, you damn devils, along with you other nations, y'all going to be taken out of power by Yahweh Shem Yahushua. The Lord going to come back, okay, and set up his elect as joint heirs. The water Yahweh Shem Yahushua, Lord's will would be of that number. All right, so with that, Lord's will, you are edified. Barakatha Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rakakwadash. Double honors to the elder apostles of Great Millstone, GMS, who rule well and teach well and taught us his truth, as well as the sincere salutations to the elder bishops, along with you brothers laboring all throughout the four winds of the earth. Yahweh Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rakakwadash, Barakatham, Slakia. To you brothers, man, and may the Lord continue, okay, to look after you brothers. Okay, I'm gonna continue to pray for you brothers. May you brothers, pray for me through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. All right, and every day we get one step closer, to the Lord returning. Right? We patiently waiting on the prophecies. We, patiently following the law, statutes, and commandments to the best of our ability. Through the spirit and power of Yahweh Hashem Yahushua. Alright, so Barakatha Yahweh Hashem Yahushua, Ba'ashem Akakwadash, Abba Babal, Kwame Ashala. Shalom.